we're selling the shovels in this gold rush. And like I said, it's exciting all around. Um, that being said, I'll move into the a couple little technical details. Again, I'm simply a technical resource who came on board to make this migration as seamless and easy as possible. Nothing more, nothing less. I simply am here trying to make sure that you guys we can move on with V3 and with MCC and send this thing, insanely far into the atmosphere. So again, I've been doing this for a long time at this point. Made mistakes, had some really big wins in the industry over the last months and even years at this point. And this is absolutely one of the more exciting things that I'm working on right now. MCC and watching this thing happen and watching this migration happen. In terms of the token contract, this brutal little tiny inflation thing that we found. I want to emphasize that I would never, reflections contracts uh, are are um, are technical, and there's a lot. They're math heavy, and it's extremely easy to make a tiny little bug or introduce a little bug that could cause something like an inflation bug. I would never belittle a dev that made such a mistake because of how technical it was. It is so. Keep in mind that don't blame anyone. Don't belittle anyone for that. We're here to uplift and be positive. All across the board. But it's exciting moving forward with the new features that Capital. That Mr. Capital earlier mentioned. No wallet to wallet transfers. That was an important enhancement. Um, what was some of the others? I think that's the biggest piece. Also, dynamic taxes. Like I said, I think right now the team never wants to exceed 10% taxes. I think they'll potentially adjust them down, and that's if centralized exchange integrations require it. You'll notice that as MCC grows and becomes an 8 and potentially 9-figure market cap project, when they get listed on certain larger centralized exchanges, they ask that you either reduce or remove taxes from your contract. And so that's that essentially that the max we would ever have is 5% on both the team and the reflections taxes, and then reduce those down. The thing you're probably most interested in at this point is the claiming interface. This is going to be the reimbursement for your V1 and V2 airdrops slash snapshot, the balances that you had on snapshots on the snapshots and the blocks that we took a snapshot on. Again, my goal with building this was to give you a crystal clear picture of what you're going to get reimbursed with for V3 and or the ETH reimbursement. And then you click a button and you get that reimbursement in your wallet within minutes, single transaction. So we're super excited. I know Mr. Capital put a sneak peek out. I'm really excited. I'm basically that's pretty much ready to rock. Testnet's gone really well. And like I said, at the time that we're ready to release this, which I think should be in several days' time, I'll let Mr. Capital provide the exact date and time for that. We'll be ready. Yeah. So again, like I said, I think that'll again. I won't belabor on any technical details, but just to reiterate, this is super exciting. I know there's been hiccups. I know there's been probably frustration amongst the team or amongst the community and the team, et cetera. But just know that the team is dishing out lots of time, lots of effort, blood, sweat, tears, and money. Most importantly, to make sure that this thing is sent where it deserves to go. One last little thing I'll point out before handing it back to you, Mr. Capital, is partnership. So I started the Moontography project back in May, have since recently rebranded to try to include a more retail-friendly brand through the OK Let's Go project. OK Let's Go, Oklg, it'll include all of the utility that we already had, which is an insane amount of utility. Um, one of the things that we did with our token contract is provide the ability to have a dynamic buyback, and we intend on dynamically buying back MCC and either starting a staking pool with the OKLG holders, maybe just burning it and throwing some green candlesticks on the MCC chart. I mean, it's pretty special what we've done and what we're continuing to do. We're kind of we're a grinded out, and we're biddlers, if you will, builders. Like I said, I ship product. I continue to, that's what I love to do, is write code and ship product. I'm excited to be able to work with the MCC team, and watch this thing build. But it's just everything that's happening in the last week and what that's happening upcoming is super bullish for both projects. And yeah, excited to see what happens next. So I'll pass that back to you, Mr. Capital, or we can, I don't know if there's any, you want to ask any questions or whatnot, or if we want to take any questions.
That was awesome. Thank you. That was very great. I think that pretty much just summarized, like, everything that we've been feeling over the week is just this energy is building very good. And I think in terms of, I know it's taking a little bit more time than obviously version 2 did, but I just want to say we're investing that time to make sure this goes through right. And you can tell we're partnering with the people who are thinking it through, who've been there before. I don't know if many of you know the Floki story. I don't want to say we're the next Floki, anything like that, but Floki was rugged 2 times essentially before it got to the level that it's at now. And I'm not saying, MCC essentially, we made mistakes, right? What we did was we had an incorrect contract, and then we had I would say, less than stellar launch on version 2. We want to make that up 100% and make version 3 third time's a charm. Let's make this thing just basically go to the moon, because we did actually renounce the V1 contract. There was not much we could do with that version 1 contract, which would have limited us in the future had we wanted to work with a centralized exchange, had we wanted to do certain things like lower the taxes. That would have never been possible. With the version 3, now we can do those advanced things. We've planned a lot for the future to make sure that version 3 is the final. Version 3 is the contract, because now we know what this is going to become. We had originally, when I started this idea with my roommate, we had no idea that it would grow to this level. We had no idea that so many people would be interested. And it was amazing, the response. But it also makes you take a step back and make you realize this is the big leagues. This is not any little tiny meme token that you want to just launch for a week and say goodbye to, right? This is a longer term project that has a lot of utility. And we believe that we want to take it there. It's just a matter of getting all those pieces together and really bringing it together. And you can see that as we do it with the team. Now, I did send out before this Twitter Spaces, I sent out a question form so I can get some questions that I can bring up on this. I'm going to go through a few, around 6 or 7 of those, just so we can kind of get a pulse from the community. So number 1, the first question: how have you learned from previous mistakes and actions taken to ensure it doesn't happen again for the V3 launch? So number 1, we never did an audit of the version 1 or version 2 contract. That was a layer of security that we missed from the very beginning. Now we're going to have audits from 2 different firms, and we also have the contract done professionally by Moontography. So we're doing this in a very planned, pragmatic way so that we can make sure we've learned from the previous mistakes and those things won't come up again. Another question: have you guys thought about implementing a sales tax on the version 3 launch? For instance, you could have a higher tax on day 1, lower it throughout the week. So in the code base, it's there. Honestly, we asked Moontography, can you put this in there just in case? But we'd like to talk with other people in the community, talk with people who've done this before. And in that culmination of the discussions, we believe in a free market. We believe that we would like the tax to stay the same at 10% at launch and throughout the duration of the project. Basically, that 10% tax is core to the ethos of the project, because that's how people receive the reflections. That's how people, the money gets back into the treasury. So we actually want to have people drive volume on it. And we especially don't want to, quote unquote, hold people hostage with their funds. I know sales taxes can be definitely fruitful in certain situations. However, we believe in a free market, and we want to ensure that people have basically the same sales tax on day one that they're going to have on day 5, day 10, and so on and so forth. So that's the sales tax. Another question: how about paying ETH dividends out from multi-chain capital? So this question kind of goes back into, and we've seen a few other projects do this, where instead of giving you reflections, they give you a capability to claim an Ethereum dividend, or basically an amount of Ethereum that you can claim to your wallet. This has both pros and cons. One of the cons is that Ethereum doesn't compound like your reflections would. As you gain reflections, let's say every time people buy, you gain that reflection. That reflection that you just gained is going to earn more reflections on top of it, because that's compounding interest. Whereas if every time we gave out Ethereum out of the system, I think we'd actually be taking some of the magic out of the multi-chain capital system, because really we depend on a high volume. That high volume grows the reflections for you as the holder, and it grows the treasury for farming, so we can do larger buybacks. So in terms of ETH dividends, it's a cool idea. We've seen other projects do it. However, we believe the reflections and the buybacks are the most fruitful way to make use of the capital we have in multi-chain capital. Another question we got in: do you have a multi-signature wallet for the farming and or marketing funds? Great question. So this one comes down to how we can technically do this in two different areas. I think the simplest one, the marketing funds, which will be held in Ethereum, that can absolutely be transitioned to a multi-sig wallet or an MSig wallet. And there we will have a number of trusted advisors in the community holding those keys, so that we have decentralized control of those funds. Since it's going to be an MSig on Ethereum, that's very simple. I'd say that's almost a standard issue thing we can do. For the farming wallet, the technicality of farming on multiple chains and in multiple different farms doesn't always make it possible with an MSig wallet, because the transactions can be more complex, or simply there might not be MSig on that specific wallet chain that we're farming on. However, we're exploring all options. If someone comes up with an MSig that works across multiple chains, multiple farms, we'll move to it. We'll test it out first, obviously, but then move to it, because that secures more the funds for the project and makes it even more decentralized. All right, one more question. What is your plan to deal with all the forks and clones coming up in the industry that are kind of copying, I would say, multi-chain capital? And I would say to this, we welcome competition. Honestly, it only makes us stronger. If we had no competition, we would become stagnant. We would have no one to push us forward. So I welcome other people competing, because honestly, that's how we get to this point where we're on a brand new contract with enhanced features and basically things like that, because other competitors realized we had a bug, and we all moved to the next generation. So competition in this industry is good. Can it be cutthroat? Can it be negative at certain times? Absolutely, absolutely. However, we believe there's plenty of room in this free market for other people to obviously play in it, and we welcome the competition. We welcome the chance to learn from them. So, many of those things we view that as a good thing for the industry, because it's driving the innovation forward. All right, so in terms of the timeline, our goal is to launch on Monday, December 13th, so that we can have the swap interface up and running so that you can claim your V3 tokens and perform that compensation for your V2 airdrop that you have, or V2 tokens that you market bought on Uniswap. So our deadline, our plan is to get it out on Monday. And basically we're doing testing on test nets right now, hardening it, making sure, running through the process, just making sure everything is airtight so that when Monday comes around, it really is just a time that we've already gone through this before. We've run through it on test nets, we've deployed it several times, and when we launch it on the Ethereum net and launch it on BSC dual launch, it will be as smooth as we've run through before, because we're going to keep practicing through the weekend and make sure things are airtight and everything is step by step by step. So with that, I think we've covered every single thing that I've had on the agenda today. Moontography, if you have anything else, you can go ahead and jump in. Otherwise, I think I'd like to thank you all for staying on the call and sticking with us through this journey. I know it's taken some time. I know it's taken some energy. And I know that everyone has their own viewpoint and a lot of emotion in it. And I just want to say we hear you. We're moving forward, compensating everyone as best we can. And we know that really the ultimate goal for the community, they want to see us on version 3. They want to see it get to the next level where we can have that good energy again, see those green candles, do the amazing buybacks, and have everyone in the Telegram, Discord, and Twitter just keep on pumping Multichain Capital, because we believe there's real utility there. We just have to get this version 3 out there correctly to all of you, get everything jump started, and I think next week is going to be amazing. All right. Thank you, everyone, for spending the time with us today. Thank you, Moontography, for the great insights into the technical details and obviously all the amazing work you got going on with the swap contract, and also highlighting the partnership that we have. This is going to
Let's
be
send this
fun.
thing.
Yeah, let's send it. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you all later. Take care.